Hello to you, SSC candidates. I trust you are preparing well for your examination. Today we are going to be checking a an essay written by one of you, a candidate of WAEC, and I'm going to be marking it. So just pay attention to how I will mark it using the standard WAEC marking guide. Then pay attention to the mistakes I'll be pointing out. Also, make sure you subscribe to this channel to receive notifications whenever I upload new educational content. So I'm going to be getting through. The candidate has been asked to write a story that ends with "Thank God I had the type of training I had from my parents." Thank God I had the type of training I had from my parents. So stay with me as I mark. My name is, and I'm very happy as I'm writing this letter about how my parents trained me. So the candidate has used a full stop within a sentence. That is wrong. Either it is done intentionally or not. That will be always wrong. So you don't use full stop within a sentence. The names of my parents are Mr. and Mrs. Oyepemi. That is also wrong. So you say the name of my parents, is Mr. and Mrs. Oyepemi. The reason is because Oyepemi is just a name. So if you have Mr. Oyepemi Babatunde and Mrs. Oyepemi Felicia, the subject will be plural. So you can say the names of my parents are Mr. Oyepemi Babatunde and Mrs. Oyepemi Felicia. But in this case, Oyepemi is just a name. Oyepemi is just a name. So you don't write this in the plural sense. Alright. My father is a pastor at our local church. Okay, my father is a pastor. Pastor must be written with the P in capital letter because it's a title. It's a title. I was being disciplined by my parents about anything I was wrong with. Now that's not a good construction. I was being disciplined by my parents about anything I did wrong. You say about anything I did wrong. I was being disciplined by my parents whenever I acted wrong. That is another way to say it. So this is not a good construction. But I thought I thought they were being harsh on me, not knowing that it is for my future. No, you don't say it is for my future. What type of future? You should say it is for my good. It is to have a good future, not just for my future. I thought that I thought that why is my parents beating me at any slight mistake done? So you say I asked. This is a question following it. So you should say I asked myself, why is it that my parent beats me? So it's not I thought that. No, I asked myself, you're asking a question. Why is it that my parent beat me at any slight mistake done? So you don't do mistake, you make mistake. You don't do mistake, you make mistake. At any slight mistake made. Where and whereas, you don't say and whereas together. You choose one. They are both linkers. So you say and my friend whenever she is wrong, or whereas my friend whenever she's wrong. Meanwhile, this is contrastive in this sense, so you don't use and, you use whereas. So this and is going to be wrong. Okay. Whenever she is wrong, a comma must be here. Whenever she is wrong, she even boasts of it. She is boast of it. She's even boast of it. So you don't just say she even boasts of it. No, she is boast of it, or she is even boast of it. And even threatens. You have been writing in simple present tense, so this is going to be threatens. So don't forget, you have been writing in simple present tense. So and even threatens a parent not to touch or even beat her again. It's not again, you say anymore, not to beat her anymore. Okay, not knowing my parents are doing the right thing, but a parent are spoiling a future. You don't spoil people's future, you can only jeopardize people's future. You can mismanage their future, okay, not spoil. Food items can be spoilt, not future. So that verb is not a good collocation in that sense. Okay, let's go. I grew up knowing the bad and good, right and wrong. No, that's not a good expression. It's not the. That the is not correct. The article the is not correct. So you say, I grew up knowing bad and good, right and wrongs. Right and wrongs. Okay. My mother, even when I was younger, forced me. Even when I was younger, you should have another comma here. Another comma here. So there should be a comma here. Even when I was younger, forced me to do the house chores. Meanwhile, I was not always happy because my friend does no work at home. Okay, I shared some of my experiences with. You share some of your experiences with, not to, my mother, and she told me to leave and not work with her anymore. Not again, anymore, anymore. They taught me in the ways, not way, in the ways and doctrines of the Lord. And when I told her that I had given my life to Jesus at one outreach, she was so happy because she had been longing for me to tell her something. So you tell someone something, not you don't just tell her. You tell her the truth. You tell her something. You tell her about something. So after there should be a noun. There should be a noun. There should be a reference. In another word, there should be a reference. You tell her. Okay. I've gone about ringing every mistake now, so that we're gonna be fast. Okay. I was in my junior school. Me and my friend. You should say my friend and I. She wanted to lure me into evil by introducing me to some boys, and me amongst which is our boyfriend. So which is not used for a human being. It is used for an inanimate object. Inanimate object. So you say to some boys among them a boyfriend was found or something. So construct it in another way. You shouldn't say boys amongst which is a boyfriend, which is not good there. Construct it in another way. Okay. I shone her and walked past her. I told my mom. So say M-U-M, mom, or mother. Okay. She prayed for me and I promised not to talk with her again. Not to talk with her again. I was groomed in the manner. In what manner? I was groomed in good manners. You should say in good manners. Taught how a girl is supposed to compose and carry herself. You don't use carry. Carry is not the good, the appropriate verb here. To compose and behave herself anywhere and anytime. Anywhere, anytime doesn't go. Anywhere and anytime. There must be a coordinator there. I always pray to God for them to keep them. My mom, I'm not going to penalize this mom because I've penalized it here. taught me how to. I'm marking the way WAEC marks. I mark WAEC. I'm a WAEC examiner, and this is how we mark in WAEC. So I'm not going to penalize this just because I've penalized it here. However, that doesn't go with I, the singular I. So the first person singular I, whenever it is used in lowercase or in small letter, we ring it across the right up, across your essay. We'll continue to ring it. Okay. I always pray. Okay, now I stop at taught me how to cook at about age 8. Now this 8, you're supposed to leave it as EIGHT in letters and not in figures. You can only write in figure when you have 21, 22. Those can be in figures. Okay. That was when I was in primary 5. I could remember vividly the day I was asked to sweep, and the day I was asked to sweep the compound. And this and is not supposed to be. You are using and too much. It's becoming redundant. You are using and too much. I was grumbling and again. You are using and again. And was so annoyed. This annoyed, I can see this as an examiner. Is this AMOYED or ANN? It's not comfortable, so you separate the letters. Annoyed. My dad took me to a tree, tied me and beat me mercilessly. And you see, you are using that and again. Okay. All I could do was to shout and scream. Even our neighbors couldn't do anything. So after that, you should have a full stop, then start with capital letter. Anything. After he had beaten me, comma, to his satisfaction, comma, he let me go of me. I can't say this. Besides, there is a repetition. Even if it is let go of me and left me, they mean the same thing. Let go of me and left me. So you should say let go of me or left me, not the two at the same time. After some hours, he came and told my mom I talked to me, and again and. Then you should learn to use punctuation marks. The semicolon represents can be used interchangeably for and. Dash can also work in situations like this. You can also use comma. Okay. Then it told me that whenever one's parents, so you said one's parents, the parent is plural parent, so the verb should be plural verb. So send. Parents send their children on an errand. They don't grumble or put on a sad face. I always thank God and I'm happy anytime I remember. Okay, so now this student has written, and I'm going to score the student over. I'm going to score this candidate over 15 of 50, and it's scientific and objective. All right, the content of these students cannot take more than 5 marks. It cannot take more than 5 marks because the student has not systematically told experiences that had led to them having learned from their parents in a spectacular way. This experience of grumbling is not sufficient to be an answer to this question. You as a candidate, you should learn to write sufficient points which make your content. Now, organization. A candidate cannot score more mark for organization than content. The mark of organization will always be equal to or less than content. So, for this student organization, the student has a poor organization, no paragraphing. The sentences are written together. The sentences, some words or letters are even matched together. The student has not, written with in a systematic way, topical sentences for paragraphings and all of those. So the students would be marked down, will be given 1 out of 10. Content is also over 10. 5 over 10. Organization 1 over 10. Expression 9. 9 in expression. The student has not expressed. Remember, expression is over 20. So this student has not scored up to half of 20 because the student has not expressed themselves well. All right. There are a few things we look out for to grade you on your expressions. Number 1, we look at your ability to use figurative languages. Say you want to use rhetorical questions. Say you want to use metaphors, simile, idiomatic expressions. Those are the things so as to be sure that you are not an illiterate or a beginner in the language. This WAEC examination, NECO examination, is not for beginners in the language. Okay, all right. We also check your use of sentence type, your variation in sentence type. How are you able to use simple sentences with complex sentences with compound sentences? Not that all of the write-up should be in simple sentences or in complex sentences or in compound sentences. You should be able to use all of this together to have a whole. Okay. Mechanical accuracy. The science behind mechanical accuracy is we mark you down whenever you write in you spell incorrectly. We mark you down whenever you write incorrect expression, grammatical expression. We mark you down whenever we see wrong choice of words, say diction. For instance, when you use spoiled for water, you don't use spoiled for water, you use contaminated for water. Okay, etc., etc. So when we see wrong choice of words, dictions, we mark the students down or rank. Each rank is -1 over 2. When we have up to 20 ranks, the student scores 0. 20 ranks makes 10 marks, and mechanical accuracy is marked over 10 marks. So let's count for this particular candidate. How many ranks does the candidate have? All right, so let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. I've counted 28, 29, 30. So this 30 rings. So the candidate automatically has 0 under a mechanical accuracy. That means that this candidate scored 15 of 50, and that is poor. That is poor for an SSC candidate. Okay, you should pay attention to writing good essay. It carries 50 marks. That's a lot. 50 marks out of your marks. Okay, subscribe to this channel to receive notification when we upload more educational content.